Hello. Today we are diving into two really exciting areas of artificial intelligence, right?
Absolutely.
On one side, we have the evolution of software, with these agents getting smarter.
And on the other, all this speculation about new AI hardware, there's some good stuff coming.
Yes, we're talking about the ChatGPT agent and that OpenAI partnership with Jony Ive.
Exactly. So let's go. Let's take a closer look at this. Starting with the ChatGPT agent.
Right. Sources suggest it's not just an update, right? It's more like a supercharged assistant.
That's it. The idea is for it to be able to use a virtual computer to handle really complex tasks.
Combining web research, browsing, and content creation.
Exactly. It would have access to a unified set of tools. Imagine a fast browser for text.
Okay.
Another one that can see the screen and click buttons, just like a person would. And a terminal to run code and analyze files.
Wow. And even call APIs, those bridges between programs?
Exactly. Including from private sources like Google Drive. Of course, always with the user's explicit permission, right?
That's fundamental.
And maybe the coolest part is how it learns to use all of this. Through reinforcement learning. It kind of thinks and acts by switching between tools.
I see. It's not just a tool, it coordinates the tools.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. A digital task coordinator.
And there are practical examples of this, right? I saw one about planning a wedding.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
The agent would look for clothes, taking into account the outfit and the weather, suggest a nearby hotel, and even remind you to buy a gift.
It shows the ability to bring together various pieces of information and actions.
And there's an even more complex one about creating an itinerary to visit all the stadiums in the American Baseball League.
That one is impressive.
Because it wasn't your route. It prioritized games on theme nights as requested and delivered everything in a spreadsheet and on a map.
Yeah, that's when you see orchestration happening. Several tools working together.
And it's not a black box, right? You can pause it, it asks questions, and there's even a takeover mode where the user takes control.
Yes, that collaboration is key. It's not supposed to be something where you just press a button and hope for the best.
Makes sense. But what about the benchmarks? Did it really improve?
Look, the sources do mention improvements, yes, in reasoning like human reasoning, math, and in real-world tasks like web navigation, using spreadsheets, and financial analysis.
Okay, sounds promising. But what about the risks? There are always risks, right?
Absolutely. One risk that's been mentioned is so-called prompt injection.
What's that?
Imagine a malicious website hiding instructions within it. If the agent accesses the site, it could be tricked into doing something it shouldn't.
Like potentially leaking sensitive data or performing an incorrect action.
Exactly. That's why caution is essential, especially if the agent has access to sensitive data. Autonomy is great, but it comes with responsibility.
Totally. And all this autonomy in software kind of brings the conversation to hardware, right? How are we going to interact with this?
Exactly. And that's where the second part of our conversation comes in.
Which is where things get really, truly interesting. OpenAI recently bought Jony Ive's design studio, IO.
That's right. And speculation is running wild about a new kind of AI device.
There's a lot of talk about something maybe without a screen, right? Focused on voice, but integrated into daily life.
Sam Altman's vision, according to sources, is to create the third essential device, something to sit alongside the smartphone and the laptop.
Wow! There's no lack of ambition. But let's be honest, that's quite a challenge, right?
Huge, especially when we look at the recent track record.
Oh, for sure. The Humane AI Pin, the Rabbit R1, they weren't exactly successes, right?
Yeah. They faced some serious problems. Maybe the technology wasn't mature enough. Usability was complicated. The price was high.
And in the end, they didn't offer anything that the smartphone didn't already do, maybe even better.
Exactly. They lacked that clear value proposition to justify the device.
But on the other hand, there are examples that worked out better, right? The Ray-Ban Meta glasses, for example.
Yeah, those were better received.
Maybe because they offer specific things, discrete camera, audio, access to Meta's AI in a format that's already desirable and stylish.
And they're integrated with the smartphone, not trying to replace it right away. Or that pen, The Plod Note pen?
True. Very niche, solves a clear problem. Recording and transcribing conversations easily.
The crucial lesson here, perhaps, is this. The innovative new device either truly needs to solve a significant problem exceptionally well, or it must be radically simpler and more intuitive for a very specific task.
So what would be the killer feature of this new OpenAI gadget?
That's the million-dollar question. The big obstacle is the smartphone. It's everywhere, versatile.
It does a bit of everything.
Exactly. The new device needs to find a gap, something the smartphone doesn't do well, or that it can do in a much better or simpler way.
It's not enough to just be something new. It has to actually be truly useful.
Undeniably useful or more intuitive. The bet is huge, not just on the technology, but on getting that fit right in people's lives.
So, to sum up what we've seen today,
basically we have two movements happening. AI in software is becoming more autonomous, able to act like the ChatGPT agent.
and at the same time, there's a search in hardware for new ways to interact, maybe even going beyond screens.
Exactly. Two paths that may eventually converge.
Which makes us wonder, what would our daily lives be like if all the intelligence of the ChatGPT agent came built into a super intuitive, almost invisible device, like the one Ivy and Altman might be designing?
It's a fascinating possibility.
This mix of highly capable software with innovative, more ambient hardware is definitely something to keep an eye on.
No doubt about it. The future of human-computer interaction might be getting redesigned right now.